Welcome to the Waymaker Church Bonus Podcast. The heart of the house is that these messages would help you encounter, live for, and advance the kingdom of God. Enjoy this month's bonus podcast. Welcome to another bonus episode of the Waymaker Church Podcast. In the studio today, we have pastors Marcus, Emily, Mackenzie, and I, Pastor Josh, your host for today. Do us a favor and share this episode with a friend or on your social media. Today, we're diving into that part 2 dynamic. If you listen to last month's, it's like a 2-part, non-2-part, kind of double-parted, but not parted at all, series, not series that we're doing right now. I know that sounds
you're
ridiculous.
Welcome for that intro.
But it's okay, because realistically, what we're saying is kind of the thought we alluded to last month's bonus podcast carries on to today. We're looking at spiritual rhythms, right? Mm-hmm. Last month we were talking about what do we do when God feels absent? What do we do when there's that spiritual dryness? But today we're looking at our spiritual rhythms, and we know this isn't a sprint. I think all of us know that. Like, we want to, and there are seasons it's just like, I'm going to run because we feel like we have to, but we also know that that's not sustainable. No one is designed to sprint all the time. Even the fastest animals on the planet can do it in short bursts, and then it's got to stop. So this faith walk is a marathon over the course of our whole life, and we'll never stop learning. We'll never stop growing in our relationship with God. So how do we do this over the long haul? How do we do this to the point that we go, okay, this is going to last, because he's calling us to our entire life of walking with him, not just a moment of salvation and cool, now you're on to your own devices. So if I were to mention the word doxology, if you have been in church for any amount of time, you may think of a hymn that's sung, but it actually means like a liturgical formula of praise to God. Now, I know there's definitely a danger in turning your worship, your praise, and your time to God as just a formula, because you can get to the point you can do it without thinking about it, and that's not a safe place to be. I think I've used my boys as an example before, in the sense of, like, we say the same prayer every single night. We've been saying it since they were really little. There are some times I'm like, time out, re-say it. We may be saying the words, but we're not here, and kind of like, all right, let's reorient ourselves, because if you're not careful, you could just do it out of rote memory, and now you're doing it and completely missing the one you're supposed to be praying to.
Right.
But there's a liturgical formula of praise to God. That's what doxology means, and far too many have looked at the sacraments as a rite of passage and really miss the purpose. And in that, we find ourselves not remembering the things God wants us to remember. And so we could do it where it's like, well, we take communion and we gather at church, but we're not really focused on him. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I can't wait till it's over. Is the football game still going? And that's not the right heart or desire. On the flip side of the same coin, it's if we're not careful, we can simply go through the motions with no thought at all. So we need to recognize it. There's value to it, but we also need to make sure we're not doing it without thinking about it. So God wants us to meet in the middle on that thought process. And there is serious value in healthy rhythms as kind of a nice way to put it, they create space for our spiritual formation. And we have a prime example in the Word, right? And this is my favorite part. Is what I love about reading the Word, because there's usually hey, I've set an example before you. Are you willing to see it through? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to dive into it, right? What does Proverbs tell us? It's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the glory of kings to find it out, right? So he's basically going, do you want to go on a treasure hunt? And so one of the first things we have, and one of the greatest examples that's ever lived, is Jesus lived with rhythm. He was very intentional, right? What does it say in Luke? Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So with that thought process, like, what does it look like to you guys to live with rhythms? Like, what are some of your rhythms? Maybe to get really practical for our listeners.
I don't know how early people wake up. I know I'm a really early riser.
You're a freak of nature. Like really early riser.
Yeah. Like 4:30 in the morning, early riser.
We are not the same.
Yeah.
Nope.
And my morning routine is pretty much the same. I wake up, brush my teeth, grab my phone, go work out. And then literally as soon as I'm done, it's like I'm reading my Bible. And then I'm getting ready for the day, So it's like those are kind of my rhythms. A lot of times there might be some worship music in the mix. I actually use my workout time a lot of times as a time to. It's a lot of times to say the word time, as a way to. Let me think about. Let me get the thesaurus in here. As a way to either watch a sermon or put headphones in and listen to worship music, so a lot of times, obviously by the time I hit my home gym, it's 4:45 in the morning. Literally nobody else is awake. Okay. Like not even the sun is awake. And so I use it as a time to like just be by myself and have that kind of what we were talking about last month. It's like, sometimes it is just that quiet time, other than me breathing really hard, but like it is a quiet time where like no one else is talking. There's no music playing. And I'm literally thinking about like, God, what are you doing today? Or like
Jesus help me.
yeah. I think I might die. This is gonna crush me.
So
but other times it's like there's worship music on, or I listen to some of my favorite preachers, and maybe they have a different thought process than I do, or they have a revelation that I don't, kind of thing. And so I use that time literally a lot of times as my way to kind of have that connection. It's like my rhythm of life,
right,
and kind of gets me grounded for the day. Yeah.
That's good. For those of us that are human, what time do you guys wake up?
Yeah. Not going to talk about that one. When I'm in good rhythms, 6:30 to 6:45, kind of have my quiet time before the house gets crazy, everybody else gets moving. I used to do like the much earlier morning thing, but I found that our youngest loved to be awake with me. Like no matter how early that was, and then it actually like started throwing off his like whole sleeping patterns, which was the whole season, and that was years ago. But I actually kind of got out of those rhythms, kind of more for him, I think, because I felt like he doesn't need to be up at 5 a.m. and doing these things with me. But I kind of flip-flop my day. I love to stay up late, so I'm kind of the polar opposite. So, like, when you're getting up, I'm probably going to sleep right before that. A lot of the time. And so, but I find that's that quiet time, I especially love it, like, right now or, in just those seasons where when it gets quiet, like you kind of mentioned last month, it's loud a lot. So when it gets quiet, it's quiet. And that's just those peaceful moments where the house stops and kind of like I think of Jesus like in this story, he was constantly surrounded by people. And so when you can get into that sanctuary place, that quiet place, finding that is super important. So it may be different times of the day for me. I think it's kind of inconsistent depending on just what life looks like in the seasons. But I mean, if it's for like my mental sanity, I like late nights. I'm not a morning person. It's just not my thing. Never has been.
I try to be. Like every night when I go to bed, I'm just like in the morning, I'm going to get up. I'm going to make us all breakfast. And the morning comes, I'm like, they really don't need to eat. They'll be fine.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
I know. It's just like, I'm going to teach them the art of fasting, Like, so it's amazing how it changes. Sounds spiritual, though.
Right. For my house, we don't necessarily have kids yet, and it's a blessing that y'all's houses are loud enough to have that and to even search for the silences. I do have a dog, though, that is very vocal and loves to be in my business, and it's just very different. But for me, I'm not an early morning person either. I definitely, like you said, I definitely try. That is always the goal. Almost every day is the goal.
Alarms going off. You're like,
yes,
dude,
I'm like,
you're like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. We're not.
Maybe tomorrow. Yeah. No, that's for sure. But I definitely love my time, especially like whenever I get off at work, or even on like lunches sometimes. I enjoy just sitting, and sometimes there doesn't even have to be TV on. It's like sometimes just this, even kind of piggybacking from last month, just sitting in the silence of stuff, and it doesn't even have to be anything. Sometimes those can be really a recharging state, just to go, okay, can conquer out the rest of the day or the rest of the week or the rest of tomorrow or the rest of the thought process that happen. But I do stay up a little bit later, not necessarily as late as you do, but I do stay up late, and I do enjoy, stuff like that, like journaling, even going on walks. I definitely do enjoy those a lot. It's a lot of times where I get to even just have good one-on-one with the Lord, where I'm like, okay, like, all right, how was today? And I'm like, yeah, I messed up there. Okay, cool. Well, let's conquer it out tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow holds. And there's a lot of good stuff that comes out of it that are my regular rhythms, and just always doing that, and even just sitting down at the piano. Sometimes I don't even play. I'll just sit down on my way to play, and I'll just be praying. And then we don't even get to play yet. And then tomorrow comes, and then maybe that's the day to play. But those are my typical rhythms of spaces and zones and switching up the norm to make sure there is a rhythm of some sort. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that you like nailed that on the head right there with that switching up the norm. Because I know, like me, I'm a checklist person.
Yeah.
I like the task. I like to
No.
know what's. I know, crazy, right? Nobody knows that about me. But I'm the list person. I know what my tasks are for the day, things like that. But those aren't rhythms.
Yeah.
You know, that's habits I've created, which isn't necessarily bad.
Right.
But when we're talking about those sacred rhythms, it's got to be outside the scope
Yep.
of just our daily task list.
100%.
You know, and I think we tend to want to like mesh those together and act like it's the same thing. Like, oh, well, I'm coming in and I'm checking all the boxes of things that need to be done so that ministry can happen or the job can get done, whatever that is.
Right.
But are we creating the sacred rhythms? You know, because like we're looking at Jesus, right? The best example that there is out there. And he was constantly doing ministry, but you see that his rhythms were not in just the tasks and the things that were going to happen and get done, not just like need to, but were going to happen, you know? And so looking at that example, that just really jumps out to me of like, okay, what do we need to reevaluate there to focus in on that side of it?
Yeah.
Right. And that's, I mean, yeah, that really is the crucial point. Like, reality is we all have a rhythm, whatever that looks like.
Right.
It could be waking the sun up. It could be putting the sun to sleep. You know, like, I don't know. And we're not talking about a physical son or daughter.
Yeah.
We're talking about the actual sunshine. You know, but we all have a rhythm we do live by. Is it his rhythm? You know, is it really what he wants, or is it what's convenient for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, is it one of those like, hey, like I know better, but I still don't, or I'm doing everything he's asking me to do. You know, and I know far too many of us we don't line up in the I'm doing everything he's asking us to do, because usually when he's talking, it's at war with what we're wanting to do. But you can see that Jesus lived it out, right? A prime example of that, like Jesus prayed a lot. We can tell that he broke away to pray, but you can tell it was a natural rhythm in his life and even within the ministry, because like I always take into consideration the Last Supper, right?
Yeah.
So they had that moment and they're doing these things, and then he's like, one of y'all is going to betray me. And of course, every one of them, is it me?
Not it.
Is it me? Is it me? And it's what's weird is Judas had the ability to ask too, is it me? It's like, what do you mean, is it you? You know it's you. You know, he didn't
You've
say
been
it
stealing
like
money
that,
this
but-
whole time.
I know, right? But he, you know, he basically had that conversation. Judas left. They finished the dinner. They did all the things, all that stuff. Then they went to go pray. But Judas knew exactly where to go find him. So that tells me Jesus went to a place that Judas knew he would go to.
Yeah.
Like, we have no other discussion that it's just like, hey, just so you know, I know it's 3 o'clock right now, but probably about 10:15 tonight. Probably gonna be heading over to the garden to pray. You can find me by the fifth tree from the left, and then second one to the back. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably where I'll
yeah.
be. So when you bring the guys to betray me, like, he's not having that conversation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have sat around the table going like,
Right.
one of y'all is going to betray me. Is it me? So there are things that transpired that even Judas wasn't fully in the know of. But Jesus basically said, go do what you're supposed to do. And it got done. So there was a rhythm that Jesus lived by. We might not have it fully written out, but we can kind of read between the lines that that's a reality of it. And if we read between the lines of our lives, that rhythm needs to be there too. But then the question is asked, why is it so important? Like, why are these things so important? And I think something would be great for us to all grab onto is the idea that rhythms actually guard your focus. I don't know about you, but there are days like this morning in the office. If you want to say that I was focused, that is not the word I would use. Let's just say we were making barnyard noises in the office for no apparent reason.
While I was
we
on
were
the
just
phone.
being silly.
That was awesome.
Is that what that was?
Pastor Marcus was talking to someone on the phone that was calling for someone completely different, had the wrong number. And here I am making a giant chicken sound in the office, and the person on the phone with him 2 offices away is laughing at us. So to say we
So
were
good.
focused, we want to have fun. It was fun. But anyways, sacred rhythms help guard your focus.
Yeah, when we were chatting about this, was it last week, a couple weeks ago, the analogy that came to my mind is like preventative maintenance, basically. And there's so many things like in our lives where you have to have a scheduled rhythm of upkeep so the thing doesn't completely fall apart. You know, like you have to get your oil changed in your car so often. You got to get your tires rotated so often. It's probably really good. Maybe this is a reminder for the listeners and myself get your car washed regularly, so
Yeah.
the paint doesn't start to chip off all over the place, But
idea.
yeah, and if you own a home, you got to get your HVAC tested regularly, all the things, right? Mow your grass regularly, or
If you live in Roswell, get the water out of your hot water heater every year.
yes,
Clean out all the stuff that's inside.
yeah. Thank you for that reminder. But it's like, yeah, seriously,
So that's for
yeah,
me.
that was genuine. I forgot. But it's like because if you don't do those things, then it slowly everything will deteriorate, right? And it's kind of the same with our lives. Is kind of the analogy that came to mind is like, not that it's preventative maintenance in our life, but it's like those regular sacred rhythms with God keep our lives literally from falling apart. It's like it's necessary. We want the sporadic. A lot of times we're looking for the mighty rushing wind, the tongues of fire over the head, the sporadic moments. Philip literally getting carried by the Holy Spirit after baptizing the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts. Like we're looking for those moments, and a lot of times God is like, just the everyday. It's just those rhythms. That's where you're going to find me, and so it's like it does bring a focus to our time with God, and it's like, I don't know how you guys are. Like when I woke up this morning, I knew that sitting here recording the podcast was on the schedule, and I got really excited about it. And I think a lot of times, like when we can get in a good rhythm of spending time with God, it's like you look forward to those moments because it's on the calendar, right, per se. Even if it's not literally a block on your calendar, you just know like, oh, I woke up today. I get to spend time with God today, kind of thing, And so
My Sundays look like that.
Yeah.
Like that is the one day that I'm like, all right, son, it's time to get up, But even when I wake up on a Sunday and the alarm's going off at 5:30 in the morning, whenever it goes off for Sunday morning, I'm just like, I get up and I'm like, ooh, we get to do worship today. You know what I mean? Like I love it. I'm excited about it. I look forward to it. I don't always feel that way going to bed at night.
Yeah.
I'm just
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
that's less than 5 hours of
Yeah,
sleep.
exactly.
We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be
Yes.
fine.
Exactly.
Like, the
Yeah.
nap is coming,
Yes.
But yeah.
Even just kind of to piggyback off of the preventative maintenance is a lot of times you have to make the appointment first, and you have to get initially seen to see how it is, and that's usually seen by a mechanic. So with that, how it can apply to your day-to-day life is grab people that you trust around you, make an appointment with them. Hey, what is the life measure? What is the dial that I'm at that you see of me? Like, check out me. Am I, does it look like I'm doing okay? Do I think, hey, I'm doing great with the Lord, everything's great, and you're sitting here like, honestly,
You're
that
low
was
on
a little,
oil.
yeah, like it's a little
Right, yeah,
rough,
yeah.
like
Right.
like hey, you haven't taken your tires are really low. Like, what do you do when you're about to tread really scary stuff? And
I was
it's
thinking
like,
earlier,
okay.
I heard you backfire.
Yeah.
But that's different.
Yeah, no, that's
Sorry,
so bad.
had to go there. All right.
No, but exactly, it's like find those people, take them and let them be your quote unquote first initial appointment mechanic that can tell you, hey, where's your level at? Because what we perceive ourselves will always be different than what is given out. Because a lot of times we think way too highly of ourselves compared to what we're actually given. So grab those people who you can trust to say, hey, what am I actually at? Like, this is what I see myself. Am I actually, or am I just thinking in myself almost like a fraudulent way of, hey, this is what I'm giving out. This is so great. I've got full oil. My tires are perfectly at 36, like everything's great. And they're like, actually, you're going downhill and you've got nothing holding you steady or even brakes to slow you down.
Yeah.
I think my mind, where you say that, my
Yeah.
brain goes like, I think it's because a lot of people have cheerleaders in their life and not
Yes.
enough coaches.
Yes. Too many yes men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many people on the sideline going, "Great job, go
Most
doing
people,
great, yeah.
most people
you know?
don't want a coach.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want a counselor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to my problems, but don't tell me what
Don't
I'm
tell me
wrong.
what.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell me
Yep.
what to do. Just
Yep.
hear me out. And
Yeah.
we need more
Yes.
coaches in life for
Very
sure.
much so.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
for
but it helps bring that focus to just our life, like, because it's so easy. I don't know, when I think about that, like, rhythms bring focus. It can go the opposite way. Like you can build a lot of bad habits and get out of the rut of like spending time with God, and then next thing you know, you're focused in another area, but it's like the wrong thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I often wonder how often the chaos of life is just simply a misalignment. Because there are as we were discussing earlier, there are God-ordained things, and those moments seem chaotic. But it's chaotic to us because we don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
God's going, trust me, use faith, do these things. I know we kind of alluded to that last month. But then there's also other times that we've created chaos in life.
Yep.
And it's funny. It's almost like we're going, hey, God, I've got it from here. And he's like, oh, really? Let's see how that works out for you.
Yeah.
It's those areas where, like, when it comes to our rhythms of life and going, is my rhythm focused on him or is my rhythm focused on me? We really do have to look at the fruit that's being produced.
Yes.
What fruit is showing up in these things? Because if we're in a constant state of chaos, we have to question ourselves, am I in alignment with him?
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing something and it's beyond me? Or am I doing something and he's not in it? Because either way, those things could create a measure of chaos. And so if you're in a position and realistically the Holy Spirit isn't governing your next steps, he's not putting you in a place of going, and this is where we're going. And I know you might not see it yet, but this is where we're going. Just trust me in this. Just, oh God, this is uncomfortable. Well, he's in the picture.
Yep.
He's in the moment. He's like, when he spoke the world into existence, it's funny as like our understanding of order might not look like his understanding of order, because there are things that had to transpire. But when you look at, like, geologically, they look at our planet and they can show the measure of chaos it was in. All these layers right here, that was lava flowing. I guarantee if we were able to just be here and watch it happen, we wouldn't be like, wow, isn't that so pretty? We'd be like, it's hot, So there are these things, like it took days for creation. There were things that were spoken into existence, but we weren't there when it was spoken. It wasn't just like, boom, lush garden. It's like he created light. Then he created the sun, moon, and stars. You know what I mean? Like it's the order that we think is there, and it could have looked very chaotic to our finite minds. But to an infinite God, it was exactly as he ordered it. And so I often wonder sometimes, and like as we look at this, how rhythms can guard our focus. It keeps us in a position where we're going, okay, God, I don't fully understand, but I trust that, like, this is our next step.
Yeah.
And I have lived this out. It's why I could say it with confidence. And I believe there's far too many of us that still stay in this position of going, hey, God, here's my plans, bless it. Rather than going, what are your plans, God? I want to walk in your blessing. Yeah. There's a huge difference. And like these rhythms of like, time out, step back. These my plans, these your plans. Is this my will? Is this your will? Because I'd rather reflect Jesus than Lucifer.
Yes.
Let's just say he's the antithesis in Isaiah of like the I will set my throne above. Jesus completely contradicts him when he's in the garden, saying, if you can take this cup, take it. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And I love that picture that he paints there while he's doing that. So I don't know, like Jesus lived in rhythm. It helps guard our focus. I love the analogy we had of like basically that pit stop. Let's look at all the gauges. Why is that one way up there? But another idea to think of, I guess, would be how discipline leads to delight. I can't hear the word delight without thinking about coffee creamer. I'm sorry, I can't.
That's why I wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Quiet coffee.
Quiet coffee. Yeah, that's right.
That would be a cool T-shirt. We should run with that. It was quiet coffee, but in the shape of a cup.
I'll start thinking about it.
There we go. We can work on that.
Yeah, something we wrote down here, and I think it's just an interesting thought, is it's like, when it comes to discipline, I like the way you said that discipline leads to delight. Something in our ministry coach, his name's Chris Songson, he has said this in person, and then we kind of were watching some videos during staff meetings and kind of in our development portion of staff meetings, and he said, choose your heart. And we wrote it down like this, but we're literally like, working out is hard. I don't know, we kind of joke around. I don't always want to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go and lift weights. Like I'm still sore right now from Friday. In real time, it's Monday. What's today? Monday? In real time?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some weird time void in this building. I have no idea.
Yeah, but that was days ago, and I am still sore. Like I don't always want to do that, but I know like if I don't, like the opposite, not having enough muscle in my body is also going to be hard. dieting is hard, something I probably should live better by. But like having a body, and I always make the joke, you can't see me, obviously, but this is not on YouTube. If you're listening, just take my word for it. This is body built by burrito. You know, it's like,
It takes years of dedication
that's
to make
right.
this.
That's right. But like dieting is hard, right? Because like you literally are flipping your rhythm, and it's like, but my body is craving these other things. But also having a body that is struggling due to poor dieting is also hard, right? Schooling is hard, but also like the opposite of not having an education is also hard. It's hard. You don't get the same job opportunities. You know, life honestly can be a little bit harder if you don't have good education. And so it's like in that discipline area, it's like we have to choose our hard. Either way is going to be hard, you know? And yeah,
there's value to discipline.
Yeah.
We don't like it, but there's value to discipline.
Well, it's the small things that yield the big results. And so even like all those things you're talking about, it's the constant chipping away. It's the constant routines and those rhythms that are...
Rhythming. Yeah.
Stop ringing.
Do-do-do-do. It's all
Kids.
good. Yeah, kids.
It's the constant just small things that are going to give you those big results. So like you're talking about working out, like you're not going to get the goals you want if you never take the steps.
Yeah.
And the steps are going to hurt along the way. You know, dieting. I mean, I'm one of those, I joke about it all the time. I want to be the one that's like sniffing the candy bar and like biting the broccoli because I don't want to always eat the healthy things. So I want to be like, you know, Snickers and eat the vegetables. But it's
that's real.
It is like just creating those disciplines for the end result, you know, and it's no different in walking out our walk with the Lord. And like we have the scripture here of Hebrews 12:11, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but later yields peace, you know. And if we're looking at the big picture, the small steps are hard. Creating those rhythms at first may seem, you know, just daunting and difficult, but it's the end result. You know, what are we looking at in the future? And even though those paths a lot of the time are totally unknown to us, God knows. And so we're just every day saying, I trust you with the next step. You know, like we talked about last month, that light unto my feet, that light unto my path. Like I'm trusting you with the next step into the darkness every time I walk out one of these rhythms, every time I take that next step with you. And maybe it is hard. Maybe you have the days where you're like, just like all these other things, it's no different with this walk. You may just feel like you don't want to, but do you push through to get to the end result?
No, it's real. I mean, as you're saying that, I was just like, you said something that sparked the idea of finances. I'm like, living with a budget is hard. Living with no money is also hard.
Yeah.
You know what I
real.
mean?
Yeah.
You might buy the things you think you want, and they're sitting in the corner collecting dust, but you don't have the money to do what you need to do right now. You know, so budgeting is hard, but being broke is harder.
Yeah.
I just George Bush that word. That felt good.
Right.
That felt good. But yeah, no, you make a good point there, and it's intriguing because I've literally had the Holy Spirit tell me these things at times, especially like there'd be a season where it's like I'll just talk about physical fitness for a moment. Like you're dialed in and you get it going, you start seeing results and you're excited about it, but then something happens and the schedule gets broken up, or you know there's a small season that you get sick and so you get out of rhythm and you get out and it's really hard to get back into it, but you've seen the results. But like what would have happened if you just stuck it out? Like even right now, what would it look like, even though it may not feel like much, if I just did 25 push-ups a day and 25 sit-ups a day and 25 dips a day on the chair? And like I could do all that in less than 5 minutes.
Right.
Over the tune of a couple months, I might do the 25 and be like, oh, I can do 5 more. Oh, I could do 10 more. And like, so it kind of grows. But like you look back after 2 months of doing that and you go like, whoa, cool. Look at what you did.
Yeah.
Rather than, yeah, but it kind of hurts. Or I just don't feel like it right now. Like it's funny how we can make an excuse for not having the time to do something that takes 5 minutes.
Yep.
But then we're having to make drastic changes to do something that's going to take an hour and a half of your time because we didn't do the 5 minutes over here. Yeah. And so there's definitely that discipline leads to the light.
Yeah. And even with that, it also goes to show like discipline is something that you get to have an earning from at the end. It also shows like, okay, what are you busy with? You know, like, are you busy with the right things, the wrong things, oh, yes, I'm so busy, but you actually have the time? You know, like, we all equally have the same 24 hours that day, you know.
No, he has more.
Yes, he does.
Starts at 4 something.
Yes, he does. He definitely
But
does.
the rest of us have the same amount of
Yeah,
time.
mine starts later than you, but that's okay.
I actually live 3 days every day, you know,
Right,
if you
yeah.
turn it into.
And I'm proud of you for that, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But with that, like, whenever you're getting into, like, the discipline side of it, it's like you are choosing what you are going to be busy with. And so, in a sense, you're also saying what you value more. And it's like, even when we look at fitness, it's like, okay, our body isn't even ours, it's the Lord's. Like, we are kind of renting it, you know, while we're in this use. So it's like, why not put it to good use? Why not take care of it and take care of the vessel and be good stewards of it? It's like, what else with your time do we need to be stewarding rightly to make sure, hey, that we have rhythms? Because that's the whole point, is if you don't have a rhythm, okay, well, you know, this is a great opportunity to get disciplined, to have at least one rhythm, you know, something that's a little bit outside of your norm, to get something a little bit busier. And it's not even necessarily, don't even calculate it as, oh, this is going to make me too busy, or it's going to be too much on my plate. Make time, you know, even if it is 5 minutes. Like, if it's simply just, okay, you go to the bathroom and you're just sitting down in silence, not looking at your phone, not looking at a magazine, not doing anything, that can also be a part of your rhythms. Like, start small, just like you're saying, because then long term, it'll get easier to add another thing. You're not just going to be, okay, I haven't worked out in 5 years and now I'm going to be a bodybuilder by tomorrow. Like, you don't earn that quick. So it's like, start slow. You have to get through the process of it and enjoy the process. It's fun, because one day you're going to look back and go, holy cow, wow, am I so glad I did that then, and not be paying the price later. So
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I know we talk about like the physical side of it, but the spiritual aspect is much the same.
Yes.
You may go like, I know I need to pray more, but I don't even know where to start. Well, then start with the 90 seconds that you like.
Yes.
God, I think I word vomited everything I can word vomit at you right now. Cool.
Yes.
But, you know, as time goes on, that 90 seconds turns into 2 minutes, because you're like, oh yeah, God, and then that 2 minutes turns into 5 minutes, because while you're praying for things, you begin to thank him for things. And then that 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes because you spend the first 5 minutes thanking him for who he is. And then it turns into 20 minutes because you can't help but worship in the midst of, and all of a sudden an hour's not enough time.
Yep.
Where when we started, 90 seconds seemed like all of eternity.
Yeah.
But like the time frame of these things is so valuable, you know. I don't know. I think if we'd make that time,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it's good for the listeners to know, like, grow into it, you know, kind of what y'all are saying. A lot of times, we were talking about physical fitness earlier. It's like, I've never lifted weights before, but I'm going to try to go rep out, you know, bodybuilder weights.
And you can day one, but you die day two.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna be paying
And
it,
like
yeah.
you push it so hard, you know, you're like, I've never spent time with God, so I'm gonna read my Bible today for an hour. And then the next day you're like exhausted almost. You know what I mean? Because there's
I don't
just,
even know what I read.
and then there's just like there's so much to chew on
Yeah.
that you didn't, like, you know, basically build up to that, you know, kind of thing. And then you're like, a week later, you're like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, because you exhausted yourself on day one. And so it's like that kind of like, you know, and it's funny that you said that, Josh, because I tell our youth students here the same thing, like literally all the time. I'm like, if you've never read your Bible before, maybe just read like a half a chapter or something. And then the next day, read a little bit more. And then before you know it, you're like, you know, 10 minutes isn't enough time spent with God, and then 20 minutes, you know, and then it just grows. And I'm like, by the end of it, if you decide you want to spend 2 hours with God, like, that's up to you. I'm not going to put a time limit on it, but I'm like, at least give him 5 tomorrow or tonight before you go to bed, and just watch how every day that'll turn into a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
Right.
But we get this idea in our head that it has to be like, I don't know why we do this. It's like, okay, I've never read the Bible before, but tonight I've got to sit down and read the entire book of Revelation, you know? And it's like, well, maybe don't start there, first of all. But it's like,
I don't even know what these are.
Yeah,
but
then,
that is
like,
the extreme, right?
Yes,
like,
yeah,
people
exactly.
literally jump to that. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, let me start and just read like a chapter. in
Yeah,
John.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
I have to read all
I
of
haven't done
Matthew.
this. Yeah, I'm going to pick up and read like one of the hardest books to digest
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, you know, and I want to understand it all, you know. And so, yeah, you're not wrong in
Daniel's
that.
good. Like, what?
Yeah.
You're like 7 times 70.
I like how you were saying, like, are we busy with the right things? One thing that you hear a lot is, well, I just don't know if I can make time for that. Where does that fit in my schedule? And I'm going to be honest, this one's going to hurt, but I feel like I'm supposed to say it out loud. So check how much time you spend on your phone.
Yep.
look at where your focus goes, because there's
That
a lot of people that they'll say, well, my schedule is too busy, my life's too busy. But if you have 4 hours to spend on social media, watching videos on YouTube, scrolling aimlessly, you've got 10 minutes to start a good habit with God, And so it's those things of, what are we busy with?
Yeah.
What are the right things?
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, start small.
Yeah.
Don't dive in and try to become a theologian by tomorrow. Like, just take the baby steps and give yourself the grace that you may miss a day. Okay, great. Don't quit. Keep going. It's like working out. Don't quit.
I always say that
going.
too. I'm like, students, if you miss a day, don't miss 2. And if you miss 2, don't miss 3. You know, there's a little bit of grace in that too. It's like, because a lot of people can beat themselves up and go, well, I missed a day, so
I'm out.
Basically.
I was doing Bible in a year. I missed day 7, so I'm just not going to read it
I'm
anymore this year.
done. I'm out.
Instead of like catching up, you're just like, well,
exactly.
I tried.
Yeah, I tried.
It was close. Really felt good about that one.
Yeah. I've even seen like a video where they had a cup and they're kind of using that as an example, where they're like, you accidentally bump into it, it spills a little. So then they're like, oh, so now the mentality is I'm going to pick it up and pour it all out because it spilled a little bit, so I'm just going to empty it all out. And, I'm done. Sorry. It's already worth nothing now because I messed up, accidentally bumped into it,
Right.
Like, no. Like, keep going, Like,
Still got something there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. But it's so true. And these are those things, kind of even tying in again to last month's thought process. These rhythms help you when you feel like God is silent.
Yeah.
Like our life needs kind of a rule of life. We have to be able to go like, okay, God, I'm not hearing you right now, but I know to do this, so I'm going to continue to do these things. Right? I tell the boys that all the time. Just do what you know is right. When you don't know what to do what you know is right.
Yes.
And we've told them, like, we're not going to hold you accountable for something we've never taught you. Like if it's something you don't know, then we'll teach you. But in the meantime, do what you know is right.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so these sacred rhythms help us grow into and learn what is right. These sacred rhythms go, even waiting on God. Waiting is not idle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Waiting is active, going, I'm not sure what my next step is, but I know what to do on this step. So we're going to do all the things we know we're supposed to do on this step until he calls us to our next step,
Absolutely.
And so rhythms help you when you feel like God is silent, and again, that waiting on God is not passive. So it's kind of the thought process there in that. These sacred rhythms, we need them. Jesus saw the value in it. He needed them. And so for us to think that we could do it without him, I don't know about you. I cannot be anybody's Jesus. I can't even be my own Jesus.
No.
I cannot hang on a cross and pay for my own sins.
Yep.
Impossible. I can't stand before the Father and go, but look at all the things I've done. He look at me and go, filthy rags. Son, would you like to step in? And thankfully Jesus says, yes, I'll gladly step in. So with that being said, be like Jesus in those regards. Live with rhythm. Let them guard your focus. And why? Because the discipline in these things, it'll lead to delight. It'll lead to growth in him. It'll lead to those areas where we can go, you know what? This season is tough, but because of what I've read, because of my rhythms, because of these things, I know my God will. I know because he did. Like there's a different confidence in who he is just because we're going like, the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Yeah. What he did for that person, he can do for me. And God, if you did it there, you can do it again. I trust you. I believe. And it really begins to help us when those moments feel silent, when we don't know what to do, when we don't know what's next. These are those moments where we go, all right, God, I trust you. Why do we trust him? Because in my rhythms, I've spent time with him. Yeah. To the present, he's there. So healthy rhythms create space for spiritual formation. So if you're ever going like, man, I just feel like I need to go deeper, let's create some healthy rhythms.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll change everything.
So good.
Well, I hope that helps you today. We love bringing these to the table month in and month out, and looking forward to doing the next one. But with that being said, again, if any of this kind of strikes a chord, you find it helpful, you think someone else could benefit from it, please send it out and get that over to them. You should be able to share it on whatever platform you are on. And just get the word out, and we're going to continue to run after Jesus, and whatever he lays on our heart, we'll kind of do. If you have any questions, man, we would love to answer those. If you have anything you're just going like, hey, could you guys talk about this? We'd love to dive into it and try to get that into the rotation and just see what is going on and then kind of meet you where you guys are at. But we thank you for listening. We hope this is a blessing to you. You guys have a great rest of your month.
Thank you for listening to the Waymaker Podcast.
To simply connect, or if this message ministered to you and you would like to support the ministry, you can simply go to waymakerchurch.org.